I'm Dave Dinkle, and this is another in the video series of actual recent deals. This one is an example of a $14,270.72 profit, once again with no money in the transaction on the part of the real estate investor. The following is actually a real estate deal that was recently completed by a new student, and it exemplifies many of the aspects of how to do these transactions with no money, no credit, and no risk. This is an example of actually a triple closing. This was done with no money, no credit, and no risk. As I always say, the investor still profits if the end buyer doesn't close. Very, very important. Throwing that extra entity in there for this transaction is actually not uncommon in the world of wholesaling. The reason this worked is because you have a motivated seller. If you're saying to yourself, this seller is crazy, the end buyer is crazy, forget it. You don't get it. Real estate investing is about finding motivated sellers, motivated buyers, and putting the two together and collecting a substantial profit for doing that. Now, once again, it's an A to B, B to C, and finally a C to D, and all this took place literally in one day in about 3 hours. We're not going to cover the other documents needed for the closing because it really doesn't matter. Essentially cut the HUD in half. This is the upper half. So here's the bottom half of the B to C of the HUD 1, page 1. This is the investor buying it from the relocation firm, and this is what it looks like. Now the other part of this transaction is $16,771.10, which was cash to the seller. The most important part here is really full 6% commission, $26,600. Here is what's important. So in addition to the money on the first page as a net profit, they also receive that money. Bottom half of page 2. These are the settlement or closing costs. Now here we get into where the money is going to be made or lost, and I've split it in half for you. The investor's profit on this transaction was, so here's the top half of the C to D HUD 1. Now the bottom half is different. This is where the real expenses come out again, and let's look at and see what they are. So in summary, as we look back on this transaction, the investor contracted for a property with a 10-day inspection period. It was purchased and sold the same day within minutes. There was no earnest money deposit from the investor. The end buyer put up a $41,000 non-refundable deposit. The real estate agents or brokers, whatever they were, netted $26,500 in commissions, plus a buyer's agent fee. As a joint venture, no repairs were made, and the buyer came with this buyer's agent who accepted the $7,000 as a joint venture partner fee. So the investor netted $14,934.20 with no money, no credit, and no risk in the deal. Thanks for joining me for this example of an A to B, a B to C, and a C to D transaction.